Hello, and welcome to Part 2. You must have really enjoyed Part 1. Or you're lost and found your way here first somehow. If that's the case and you continue watching, this is going to be very confusing. So please go ahead and find Part 1 located here or wherever the links are located. You'll see it. Anyway, for those of you who intended to click over to here, welcome to Part 2, and back to the reaction.
It's true you don't see many dwarf women. They are so alike in voice and appearance that they're often mistaken for dwarf men. It's the beards.
So, does that mean that the women have beards as well? Or is that the one differentiating characteristic between dwarf men and dwarf women?
All right, nobody panic.
I don't think anyone's panicking, Gimli. No one really even moved that much except for Eowyn.
She was a girl when they brought her father back dead. She watched her mother succumb to grief, and she was left alone to tend her king in growing fear, doomed to wait upon an old man who should have loved her as a father.
Theoden, the guilt that he has for what Saruman did to him, what happened to his son in the meantime and everything else, almost losing his kingdom.
I made some stew. It isn't much, but it's hot.
This is new too, I believe, giving some more moments to Aragorn and Eowyn. It is a little odd to sit there and stare at him eating it. Could she possibly want a compliment?
He said that you rode to war with Thengel.
King Theoden has a good memory. He was only a small child at the time.
Then you must be at least 60.
87.
I did not know this. Wow.
A descendant of Numenor, blessed with long life.
I did not know that. That was genuinely a surprise. That's something that nobody told me in the comments, and I did not know about Aragorn. I didn't know that he had a lifespan that was any longer than that of just an average human being. When she started saying that, I was wondering if somehow he ended up with longer life from having lived with the elves. Can someone explain that to me? Exactly what is that? She said Duodain or something like that. What differentiates him from like just a regular human and allows him to live longer?
Like my heart.
And also, somebody settle this for me if you would. I just heard Arwen calling to him. Is it actually a dream or is it a vision? Like, are they actually communicating through their dreams together, or is it just him dreaming of her? Because obviously this is the only way in which they see each other during this entire movie, or at least that was the case in the theatrical cut. Maybe that's different in this version. Beautiful scene with the two of them. His path isn't hidden from him. He's just unsure of it. He knows what he has to do. He's just not prepared to accept it yet. And she is steadfastly devoted to him, as he is to her. This gives a slightly different depiction of this. I think this is extended, their kiss and all that kind of stuff, but also of the supposed potential romance between him and Eowyn. It's hard to envision this and him entertaining any kind of romance with Eowyn.
I will not leave my daughter here to die.
She stays because she still has hope.
She stays for you. She belongs with her people.
This is the classic father not being willing to let their child make decisions for themselves.
I'm mortal. You are Elfkind. It was a dream, Arwen.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't think he believes him. Can't really say something like that when your eyes completely betray you. He's just been convinced by Elrond that this is what's best for her, which in his own way is him trying to show how much he loves her. But the point of life is not just survival. It's to actually live. It's to actually have the experiences that make your life worthwhile, the relationships that make your life worthwhile.
Mama? I'm not sure.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, this is brutal. Yikes. Again, an orc riding basically a tiger. That's a brutal way to go. I forgot they got attacked on the way. Yeah, I mean, what do? You know, you have all of these unarmed people. I mean, you have soldiers too, but how do you protect the innocent people that can't fight back? I don't know if you have that many arrows, Legolas.
You must lead the people to Helm's Deep, and make haste.
I can fight.
No!
Yeah, I guess that's the part I forgot.
You must do this. for me.
Because that's what you do. You send everyone else off as fast as you can, and then you try to stop the attackers from being able to reach them.
Stay together!
You see, the way that this is structured now, and especially her bringing up him fighting with her grandfather, like fighting alongside him, at least the way it feels more like her revering Aragorn as this great warrior, as opposed to there being a romance there. If I was seeing this for the first time, that's the sense I would be getting. Not that she was in love with him, but she's impressed by this incredible warrior that he is. Ooh, what? Quite the collision. Yeah, I think I've forgotten how many battles there are, like how much actual fighting there is in this movie. The next one too, but this and Helm's Deep. All right, Gimli. Basically facing down a Middle-earth tiger. Ooh.
That one counts as mine!
They've started. Is this where they start keeping count? I wasn't paying attention. Ooh. Aragorn just takes off a head as he rides by. That one counts for you, Gimli. But you might want to get out from underneath that thing. I think this is new too. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that's... I remember that part. That's a scary situation to be in. They could rip your face off. Ooh, good shot. I don't know why when I saw this the first time, I hadn't expected it to be as graphic as it is. I mean, it's not super graphic, but there's some moments for sure. That's a rough spot to be in. Yeah, I think I remember what happens. Ooh, yeah, that's what I thought I remembered. Just making sure they stay down. Yeah, they did a good job fighting them off, but Aragorn went over the side of a cliff.
Aragorn!
Aragorn!
Yeah, that one even worries Legolas. He knows that means it's serious. Aragorn would never lose track of that of his own free will.
Get the wounded on horses. Leave the dead.
It's a hard thing to hear when you just lost your friend. But Legolas understands, obviously. They have to keep moving.
Helm's Deep.
And they at least find relief in the fact that they've reached it.
We're safe.
Oh, were that true? Safer than being out in the open, for sure. Quite a few people to pile in there.
Frodo!
Oh, they found their mom again. That's sweet. Yeah, they weren't that far behind them, but they were on horseback, and the rest of the citizens were on foot.
So few of you have returned.
It was a bad battle, Gimli.
My lady,
Lord Aragorn, where is he?
he fell.
Damn it, Gimli. Maybe I'm just too easy to set off. I've seen this, but just that little tremble in the voice, you know?
Draw all our forces behind the wall. Bar the gate and set a watch on the surround.
You know, the first time I saw this also, I didn't know who was playing Gimli. Makes a lot of sense that it's John Rhys Davies. He's been in so many great things.
Just a little more than a train. What kind of device could bring down the wall?
Grima, take a step back. And it's gunpowder. It's not that complicated.
Would take a number beyond reckoning. Thousands.
Tens of thousands.
I find it not very believable that Grima has been here all this time and he hasn't looked out the window. You just happen to not notice an army that was tens of thousands strong. Treebeard still walking. And Isengard in the background.
He no longer cares for growing things.
The understatement of the year. For them to get their first glimpse of that force.
War is start.
And we catch back up with Eric, lovingly deposited onto the shore of the stream into which he fell. See, again, there's things like this that aren't made necessarily clear. Is she connecting to him, or is he just dreaming of her in his unconscious state? Are we meant not to know? Are we just meant to interpret however we wish? That's convenient. A horse finds you and comes to wake you up. I can't remember if that's his horse somehow, or if it's just a random horse wandering around. Oh, it is the horse. It's the horse that he tamed back in Rohan. Well, yeah, that makes far more sense now, having the context. Although remember, Brego's not his name, apparently.
I have made my choice.
And I don't know how he could possibly think that this is the right thing for his daughter. I mean, yeah, just from a safety standpoint, but to take away her ability to make choices for herself.
If Aragorn survives this war, you will still be parted.
Now we come into the real manipulation.
If Sauron is defeated and Aragorn made king, and all that you hope for comes true, you will still have to taste the bitterness of mortality.
I would like to quote a different franchise. I'd like to quote Vision from the MCU. A thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. Or a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts forever.
You will linger on in darkness and in doubt. It's nightfall in winter that comes without a star.
Who would think this is a good thing to say to your child? What a horrible direction to take with this. Your daughter is in love with somebody, and you're telling her about how alone, hopeless she'll be. If I were her, if I wasn't already convinced to stay, that little performance of his would have convinced me to stay. You're not going to scare her into giving up on the person she loves. Yeah, but at a certain point, you have to make a life for yourself. I know they didn't change much of that with Elrond, and I understand why he's doing it. And I understand why they have to do it for the dramatic tension of the story, but I think that was, from a personal perspective, the exact wrong thing for a father to do. Forget your happiness, forget your love, forget everything that's meaningful to you. Just go and continue to live so that I can be okay in the knowledge that you're okay.
The power of the enemy.
I've heard that Galadriel is Arwen's grandmother. Does that mean that Galadriel is Elrond's mother?
Sauron will use his puppet Saruman. Isengard has been unleashed.
Yeah, Saruman's looking less like Saruman the White all the time.
In his heart, Frodo begins to understand. The quest will claim his life.
Oh, they believe that Frodo is destined to die from the quest that he's on? I suppose that's not a great leap to make.
The young captain of Gondor has but to take the ring for his own, and the world will fall, for Sauron will have dominion over all life on this earth.
So the elves are leaving as kind of what they believe is their only way to avoid falling victim to Sauron's reign. They think that there's nothing that can stop him from returning to power.
The fight will come to men on both fronts. Gondor is weak. Sauron will strike us soon. He knows now we do not have the strength to repel him. Men tell me that you are orc spies.
Spies? Now wait just a minute.
I feel like we're getting a bit more time with Faramir as well, like we did with Boromir, to kind of understand where he is just in trying, similar to Boromir. Boromir was concerned with protecting Gondor. Faramir is doing his best as well.
Speak.
It's a difficult place to be in.
We are hobbits of the Shire. Frodo Baggins is my name. This is Samwise Gamgee.
Because if he tells him that he has the ring, he automatically creates a problem.
And where is your skulking friend?
There was no other.
Yeah, real convincing liar.
We set out from Rivendell with 7 companions. 1 we lost in Moria. 2 were my kin. A dwarf there was also, and an elf. And 2 men. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and Boromir of Gondor.
That's a name he was waiting to hear.
You're a friend of Boromir?
Left on complicated terms.
It would grieve you then to learn that he is dead.
Dead?
Yeah, maybe they'll explain it.
Torn washed up upon the riverbank.
Okay.
Not 6 days passed.
Was that not in the theatrical cut?
It was cloven in 2. More than this, I know it in my heart.
Because that was confusing, I think, the first time around.
It was my brother.
That he knew that Boromir was dead, but he didn't know how. It didn't seem to make sense, I don't think. I don't think they clarified it in the theatrical cut. They certainly didn't show this. There's some of these people have very accurate dreams. He said he found his horn. He didn't say he found his body. And that is exactly what his body looked like when they put it over the falls. So, yeah, we definitely didn't get these flashbacks.
This city was once the jewel of our kingdom, and so it shall be once more!
Yeah, you start to get a sense of why Boromir had such a concern to protect his people, and Faramir as well, and why they...
Good speech. Nice and short.
More time for drinking.
Kind of their whole existence is devoted to it. They've been under the gun for so long, fighting against Mordor in particular as it's risen back to power.
Remember today, little brother. Today, life is good.
Yeah, you never see them together other than this.
What? He's here.
Denethor.
Oh, one moment of peace. Can you not give us that?
and they have irritation with him.
Where is my firstborn?
Father!
So Boromir thought differently of him than Faramir did.
The victory belongs to Faramir also.
If Faramir, the city would still be standing.
Makes a lot more sense. Why is there... I mean, I guess this happens sometimes where fathers do this.
Always you cast a poor reflection on me.
Give him no credit, and yet he tries to do your will.
Why is there such a wide gulf between how he feels about Boromir and how he feels about Faramir?
Elrond of Rivendell has called a meeting. It is rumored.
The One Ring.
So they suspected what it was when he went to the meeting.
Ever the ring will seek to corrupt the hearts of lesser men, but you are strong.
Talked up by his father to believe that he could overcome the power of the ring.
Sauron is biding his time. He will return, and when he does, we will be powerless to stop him.
This makes me think differently of Denethor to some degree, but not necessarily more positively, at least not here.
My place is here with my people.
Won't you deny your own father?
Send me in his stead.
You? Oh, I see.
What is the hostility here?
I trust this mission only to your brother, the one who will not fail me.
What a terrible father. But that's the thing, he's a terrible father to both of them in different ways. I can understand Boromir's reaction as they saw that Denethor was there.
Remember today, little brother.
They actually love each other. They actually have a real relationship. Denethor holds Boromir up as his champion, and the sun rises and sets behind him, and completely disrespects Faramir. Thinks he's not capable of anything, which makes Faramir desperate for his approval. Approval he freely gives to Boromir even when he doesn't do anything or when he's not completely responsible for what he's being celebrated for.
You must come with me now.
It's just a toxic relationship both ways. The fact that he's chosen Boromir as his prized son and his champion doesn't mean that his relationship with him is any better.
Down there. Shall I shoot?
I wonder in this moment if Frodo is considering that it might be better.
So juicy.
Probably not, but probably just considering that he would have to tell them about the ring.
Wait. He is our guide. Let me go down to him.
Maybe he doesn't have to tell them about the ring. At least not yet. I can't remember the order in which things happen there.
Smeagol. Come, Smeagol.
Why does he look distrustful?
We must go now.
Follow me. Come on. Come, Smeagol.
He does look like a dog there, though. He's crawling around on all fours with a fish in his mouth.
Don't hurt him! Smeagol, don't struggle!
I don't remember. I don't know why they did that. I guess because they don't trust him. I mean, Smeagol does give off that vibe.
That's enough.
Why are they hitting him? What did he do? Hand on the back.
Master trickster. Of course he did.
What does Faramir think is happening right now?
Leave us alone.
Does he understand somehow?
What did they steal?
My precious.
Golem has returned.
You go. Use the ring, Mr. Frodo. Just this once.
Okay, I was about to say, where would he go that they wouldn't find him?
I can't. You were right, Sam.
I was about to say, I don't think Frodo's in a place where he can even get away with that anymore.
You tried to tell me. The ring's taking me, Sam.
It's gotten its hooks into him too deep already.
If I put it on, he'll find me. He'll see.
Haunted look in his eye. Really starting to feel it.
So, this is the answer to all the riddles. 2 halflings, the ring of power within my grasp.
I don't know about it being within your grasp. I don't know if you've heard, but there's some fine print about what can happen with it. I feel like Frodo's about to pass out.
No! Don't you understand? He's got to destroy it. That's where we're going. To the mountain of fire.
I understand that he's kind of consumed by the need to help his people, and he thinks that this ring is going to help him do it. I guess it's because he doesn't know better. But them taking the ring to Mount Doom and destroying it would help Gondor. Gondor wouldn't have to fight the forces of Mordor, or likely Isengard either. Yeah, time to get to Helm's Deep as fast as you can, Aragorn. I know you've had a heck of a time. But troops are on their way. Quite a reveal on a panning shot there. Certainly never expected to see him again.
Get out of the way! I'm gonna kill him!
Gimli.
I'm the most reckless man I ever knew. Bless you, laddie.
Of all the things you were going to do, kill him was not one of them, for sure.
Lad Dolan, you look terrible.
That's cute. Yeah, maybe I misread that in the theatrical cut. I feel like there were more moments where it seemed like he was maybe entertaining the idea of a romantic relationship with Eowyn as well. But I haven't felt that at all in this.
How many? 10,000 strong at least.
That is considerable.
It is an army bred for a single purpose. To destroy the world of men.
That's a significant army to raise for that purpose. Are you aware they're just digging their soldiers out of the ground, apparently?
I want every man and strong lad ready for battle by nightfall.
Desperate times. Not much choice, though.
No army has ever breached the Deeping Wall.
These are Urukai.
I have fought many wars, Master Dwarf. I know how to defend my own.
Gimli's fought a lot of wars, too. So, don't dismiss what he knows either. He also doesn't have a glaring weakness in the fortress that he's fallen back to with his people. Like you do, Theoden.
Within these walls, we will outlast them.
Always be suspicious of somebody who's too confident.
What would you have me do? The courage hangs by a thread. If this is to be our end, I would have them be worthy of remembrance.
That's a fair point. Regardless of how likely it is that they'll succeed or not, they don't really have a choice but to stand. So they have to try to go in with as much confidence and hope as possible.
You must call for aid. Who will come? Elves, dwarves.
One of those you listed will show up.
Gondor will answer.
Where was Gondor when our enemies closed in around us?
Gondor should have come. I imagine that Denethor, being Denethor, had something to do with that. We've only seen him once very briefly in this, but he has not been a more sympathetic character thus far.
The Ents have not troubled about the wars of men and wizards for a very long time.
Time for an Ent meeting. The meeting of the Ent Council shall commence.
A gathering of what?
A gathering of Ents, as it were.
Now we must decide if the Ents will go to war.
Giant tree people going to war. That's going to intimidate anyone, I think. Getting everyone to safety before the battle begins.
Aragorn!
This part's new, I think.
I'm to be sent with the women into the caves.
That is an honorable charge.
I don't think she thinks it's an honorable charge.
What renown is there in that?
She says for renown. Is she looking for glory, or is she looking to be able to fight to defend her kingdom?
You do not command the others to stay. They fight beside you because they would not be parted from you. Because they love you.
They really are selling this more as she loves him, but also reveres him as a warrior. She wants her own glory in the battle to come because she keeps comparing herself to the other people fighting beside him, or they keep going back to her wanting to fight for Rohan. Am I reading that right? That this isn't coming off more as a love story where she's in love with Aragorn? She said a moment ago when she was talking about that because they love you, but she was talking about his fellow soldiers, people that are loyal to him, which also, again, speaks to Aragorn's leadership, whether he wants to accept it or not. This is always a hard moment, is the children, essentially, being taken from their mothers, their parents, to go and fight.
Farmers, farriers, stable boys. These are no soldiers.
Yeah. These are always the desperate moments of a conflict when you have no choice but to put untrained people on the front lines with very little chance to do much to survive, let alone win the day.
Then I shall die as one of them.
I'm gonna say I hope nobody else can speak Elvish because that would be pretty demoralizing.
Let him go, lad. Let him be.
But it again shows Aragorn's leadership that it doesn't matter the odds, he is going to stand with them.
My lord? Who am I gambling?
Theoden has been through a lot.
You are our king, sire.
In this moment of guilt and doubt about where his kingdom is and the responsibility he feels for that.
And do you trust your king? Your men, my lord, will follow you to whatever end. To whatever end.
Yeah. That is a really hard place to be, going into a battle that you basically are convinced you're going to lose, but you don't really have much of a choice. I mean, it's either that or just sit there and let them roll over top of you. Having helmets and armor on boys, weapons in their hands.
Into shadow.
They they really sell the despair, don't they?
How did it come to this?
But that leads to rise up for a more dramatic victory. Feels like this conversation's been going on for quite a long time.
We only just finished saying good morning.
It's night time already.
My point exactly, Mary. It's not exactly morning anymore.
We're running out of time.
Mary's getting frustrated.
Give me your sword.
Kid doesn't look like he even knows what to do with the sword.
The men are saying that we will not live out the night.
This is a good sword.
Aragorn just can't help but be encouraging and inspiring. He really just can't help it.
There is always hope.
That's one of the things I feel like is so compelling about his character, is this fate he doesn't want to accept because he's afraid from his family's history and so many other things, but it's so clearly who he is.
We have trusted you this far. You have not led us astray. Forgive me.
Everyone has weak moments, even Legolas. It's hard to imagine. Gimli.
It's a little tight across the chest.
Gimli is always so grumpy. And he is a dwarf. So, you know, if he's one of the 7 dwarves, I'm going grumpy.
Send for the king.
Yeah, send for the king. He wants to see this. Yeah, what do you think of that, Theoden? No one's going to show up and help, huh? Don't count the elves out. Because that looks like a significant amount of help that you desperately need.
How is this possible? Long ago we fought and died together.
That's very moving that they showed up.
We come to honor that allegiance.
They didn't have to be there. Showed up to risk their lives.
You are most welcome.
At the most desperate moment for the people of Rohan.
We are proud to fight alongside men once more.
You know, we didn't hear Theoden say anything. He could have said thank you or something. Elves just showed up to help save their ass. The elves' armor is slightly fancier. Ooh. Battle looming. Slowly headed their way.
Could have picked a better spot. Whatever luck you live by it, let's hope it lasts the night.
Gimli's like, just describe to me what's happening.
Your friends are with you, Aragorn.
Let's hope they last the night.
Be positive, Gimli. Come on. You gotta believe you have a chance. That's a little worse than rain on your wedding day. Yikes. That has to just feel like waiting for your doom as you watch it approach. What a shot. They sure know how to set up a battle scene, don't they?
What's happening up there?
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
For Legolas and Gimli to still be messing around in that mode. What perfect timing for that little bit of a laugh. Gimli needed to be in front of one of those breaks in the top of the wall there that they use for firing arrows and stuff. Nope. A little late for holding. Dude already killed one. That's not going to keep him calm. They all of a sudden decide to turn back. It's like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
So it begins.
Whether you wanted it to or not. Somebody always loses hold of their arrow, you know? I would say just fire. Don't prepare to fire. Boom!
Did they hit anything?
Gimli, get a box, for God's sakes. That still messes with me. That comes so close to their heads. Killing some of your own soldiers because your arrow goes wayward. I was saying this last time, where the hell did the ladders come from? I guess that's a regular part of warfare like this, is to carry in ladders so that you can scale the walls. You just don't see anybody carrying them until they're actually up on the wall, I guess. Needs to be somebody's job to just not go around knocking ladders back down. Quite the strategy, Gimli.
I'm on 17!
It's so perfect.
19!
I can't imagine that's in the book. Legolas and Gimli kind of hitting each other back and forth about keeping score. Did they actually do that in the book for The Lord of the Rings? They weren't just carrying a few ladders. I mean, the ladders were a whole division, apparently.
Mary.
And they have a consensus.
We have just agreed.
He falls asleep mid-answer.
Yes?
You are not orcs.
Jeez, Treebeard. This is not going quickly enough.
And what about Saruman?
Don't be hasty, Master Meriadoc.
Our friends are out there.
Mary is losing the last bit of his patience.
Takes a long time to say anything in all Entish.
Are we to understand that Treebeard is the only one who speaks English? I mean, if it takes that long to say something in Ent speak or whatever he called it, use a different language, maybe. Boom. I think you guys forgot to protect the side.
Is this it? Is this all you can conjure, Saruman?
Theoden, I don't think this is the time to be cocky. I don't think this is the time to be arrogant. You're barely holding on as it is, and they're about to blow apart your fortress in a way that you did not account for. This Mad Max torchbearer. How did they not account for this structural weakness? I mean, I guess the idea of explosives is pretty foreign. Yeah, that's going to cause a significant problem. Gimli's down. Have a Gimli down. And Aragorn. Where's that arrogance now, Theoden? I mean, you could say a lot of things about the Uruk-hai, but they're definitely relentless.
Hold them!
And the Uruk-hai pour into Helm's Deep. The fortress has been breached, and Gimli is ready to party. Is that new? I don't think I saw that before. Gimli just leaps down into the middle of a charging group of Uruk-hai. That's half crazy and half brave right there. It's a fair amount of decapitations in this movie. And Legolas's surfing archery expedition. That had to have been new. I would have remembered that.
The Ents cannot hold back this storm.
How can that be your decision?
Merry looks like he's ready to fight.
This is not our war.
But you're part of this world.
Treebeard, I think you're going to find that this is everyone's war.
You must help, please.
Your part in this tale is over.
I seriously doubt that. Pippin and Merry are yet to find that they are to go through many more changes into who they will become.
What can we do in the end? We've got the Shire.
For how long?
Fires of Isengard will spread.
Merry can't ignore it. He knows.
And all that was once green and good in this world will be gone. There won't be a Shire.
Yeah. To answer the earlier question, what you can do in the end is not give up. Sometimes you just have to fight as hard and long as you can. And hope that it gets you there. Even in the face of desperate circumstances. Poor Haldir. He led them there and fought so incredibly bravely this whole time. As they all did. I think that moment is new. Where he looks out and sees his fallen brethren, as it were. Yeah, a little bit more inspiration for Aragorn. That is a dangerous prospect to throw yourself down into the middle of a bunch of Uruk-hai like that.
Draw your swords!
Yeah, it might be time to come down off of your perch, Theoden.
We can't hold much longer!
How did Aragorn get back inside? I thought he rode a ladder down. Or maybe that wasn't him. Secret door. You guys need to lock that when you go back in.
Come on, we can take them! It's a long way.
Gimli. Ever the optimist.
Toss me.
He don't toss a dwarf.
What? I cannot jump the distance. You'll have to toss me. Don't tell the elf.
Gimli is equal parts fearsome warrior and hilarious. That's a tricky prospect, having to reinforce a wooden door like that to keep out an army of Uruk-hai just on the fly. Yeah, you gotta cut quick. Start cutting ropes. How can they lift ladders with that many Uruk-hai on it? Good shot, Legolas. Boom. He killed like, I think 100 of them just in one shot there. Legolas showing that upper body strength, getting them both on his own while they're under attack.
Pull everybody back.
Yeah, Helm's Deep is essentially fallen at this point, or all but fallen.
I will leave you at the western borders of the forest.
Yeah, it's a smart move on Pippin's part right here.
Turn around, take us south.
But that will lead you past Isengard.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. The closer we are to danger, the further we are from harm.
I don't know if that's sound theory. The closer you are to danger, the further you are from harm, but
then you are very small.
Getting Treebeard to see firsthand what's happening in Isengard, whether that was his intention or not, is a very smart move.
Are you mad? We'll be caught.
No, we won't. Not this time.
Yeah, I think what Merry said finally got through to Pippin. Now he's having his moment.
The ring will not save Gondor. There's only the power to destroy. Please, go.
Hurry!
This gives extra weight to them coming back into Gondor and finding this part of Gondor they had previously retaken burning and fallen, because it was such a big deal that they had been able to take it back. So it kind of gives extra weight to that. Yeah, that's what they were trying to tell you, Treebeard.
Many of these trees were my friends.
I'm sorry, Treebeard.
Yeah, it's the tragedy of the war. The war that you said doesn't affect you.
A wizard should know better.
I agree, he should. Saruman is quite clearly betrayed everything he once stood for.
Look, the trees.
Where are they going?
They have business with the orcs.
That is amazing how something as stationary as trees all of a sudden just start moving like animals, essentially.
My business is with Isengard tonight.
It's hard to describe in a way that ancient beings like this would be able to fathom that all of a sudden this kind of travesty is being committed by someone they previously trusted.
The Ents are going to war.
Yeah, the army of the Ents is ready.
To our doom, last march of the Ents.
I don't think you should automatically count yourself out yet, Treebeard. You're quite a force to bring to bear on Isengard, especially considering they sent away all their troops. Yeah, Gondor just has constant problems, don't they? Always in battle, always under attack, it seems.
It's calling to him, Sam. His eye is almost on me.
Sauron senses that he's close. Frodo can no longer hear.
Take them to my father.
You want to know why your brother died? He tried to take the ring from Frodo. The ring drove your brother mad.
Sam's about had enough of this. Might have been important for Faramir to hear that. Whether or not he'll listen, I don't remember. I mean, I remember some of what happened.
They're here.
That's a fell beast with a ring wraith on it. That's a problem.
Stay here. Keep out of sight.
Take cover!
I mean, you really do get a sense of Faramir in theatrical and here that he's not doing this for bad reason. He's legitimately just trying to save his people. He's just misguided, as so many people are, when they think they're presented with a powerful weapon.
It is over.
You said this fortress would never fall while your men defended it. They still defend it. They have died defending it.
Why would you ever give up and just let your enemy roll over you? I mean, it's not like there's going to be any mercy.
Is there no other way?
There is one passage. It leads into the mountain, but they will not get far.
Yeah, they could try, though. Try to get as far away as they can.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
You can try. What other option is there?
Ride out with me. For Rohan, for your people.
The sun is rising.
Look to the dawn on the 5th day. Time to go see what Gandalf has brought to help, because they could certainly use it.
One last time. Yes.
Come on.
Let this be the hour when we draw swords together.
Go down trying at the very least, you know? I mean, again, that is not something they would expect. They believe they've won, and all of a sudden they have the king and this small contingent riding out into the midst of them. I'm really surprised that none of them get taken down. They really just must have taken them off guard. Gimli's going to start freestyling up there on that horn. Just blasting through everybody on the bridge. I feel like they're going to have more trouble when they get down there. As promised. Gandalf says he's going to be there at dawn on the 5th day. He's going to be there. Dawn, 5th day.
Go hit him!
With friends. Time for an attack from the flank. Never have reinforcements been needed more desperately. And also the fact that these are Rohan's greatest warriors, return to fight and save their people. I still would like to know what they were doing heading north, like meaning where were they going? Yeah, the Ents are pissed. And rightfully so. I don't think you want to get on their bad side. And you very clearly have, Saruman. Throw the orcs into the mine. One particular weakness of the Ents. You gotta watch out for the fire. Get out of the way. The other problem is the Ents do walk. I mean, they can take big steps, but they do walk terribly slow. And nothing quicker to put out the fire than a little bit of water. I feel like your shop is closed, Saruman. The Ents take root. And that one needed it. He was still on fire. If there's anything that Lord of the Rings does well, it's these shots of grand devastation or, huge battle scenes or whatever. They do a great job of making it feel very real. I feel like I remember this moment, but I don't know exactly what he's doing. Like he's in a trance, I think I remember. The ring wraith finds what he's looking for. What was Frodo's plan? He was about to put the ring on. That likely would have just made him invisible, but not to the ring wraith. So, I know he was overtaken by the ring, but what was he supposed to be doing? Yeah.
It's me.
Things are getting bad for Frodo. Anger and hatred is overtaking him.
You know you're Sam.
Back off, Frodo. You're Sam. Nobody else's.
I can't do this, Sam.
Nobody can do this, Frodo.
So wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here.
An impossible journey, but someone has to make it. Otherwise, all's lost.
It's like in the great stories, full of darkness and danger.
This is one of those stories. Every part of it is one of those stories. Victory is not something Theoden thought he would be calling out only, a short time earlier.
And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't.
It's impossible to speak through this, but then I can't show it. Sam just giving an incredible monologue about not giving up in the face of adversity and being brave when it's hard to, which is the time you have to be brave.
There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
It very much is, Sam. And you have to be willing to risk everything for that sometimes. And this is Sam's entire vital function, is to be there to remind Frodo of this. And it is vital. And apparently he just reminded Faramir of it as well.
At last, we understand one another, Frodo beckons.
If you let them go, your life will be forfeit.
Well, at this point, we've seen how his father is. And the first time Faramir thinks something else is more important.
Release them.
Important moment for Faramir. I guess the Uruk-hai have had enough.
Stay out of the forest! Keep away from the trees!
I don't think we saw this part. Or I don't think this part was in theatrical. The Ents might be waiting for them there. Didn't realize the trap they were running into. The Ents and their trees will take care of the rest of the Uruk-hai. Yeah, we definitely didn't see that before.
Final count, 42.
42? Oh. I myself am sitting pretty on 43.
I think Gimli's lying.
He was already dead.
He was twitching.
That was new too, and that's a nice little tag.
Not too happy at all, Mary.
Suppose the view would be quite nice from up there.
Oh, yeah.
All of this is extra, I believe. Yeah. Mary's seeing if he regained his height.
I'm starving.
Merry and Pippin back to being concerned with food.
Can't be.
Apparently it can be.
Do you think we should share it with Treebeard?
I don't think Treebeard has a use for smoking anything.
Don't be hasty.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is kind of the victory lap of the movie. They cut out a lot of this, or most of this, from theatrical.
This is the old sewer. It runs right under the river through to the edge of the city. You'll find cover in the woods there.
Captain Faramir, you've shown your quality, sir. The very highest.
It's another wonderful setup to have that whole line through about showing your quality. To have it start as a negative line used toward him, by his father, and now to be turned positive once again.
Go, Frodo. Go with the goodwill of all men.
Thank you.
It gave Faramir a little more time here, too, to show his decency and his growth. And this.
May death find you quickly, if you bring them to harm.
His distrust of Gollum as well. I'm anxious to see what else we'll get from Faramir in Return of the King.
Mr. Frodo didn't mean for them rangers to hurt you. He was trying to save you.
That's another important moment.
There's no hard feelings.
No.
But he already let Gollum back in because he was upset.
Very decent of you.
It's also different seeing Sam making consideration to Gollum like that.
Battle for Helm's Deep is over. The battle for Middle-earth is about to begin.
Yeah, it's the first battle in what is to be a catastrophically huge war.
I wonder if we'll ever be put into songs or tales.
Or books or movies.
Let's hear about Frodo and the ring. Frodo was really courageous, wasn't he, Dad? Yes, my boy.
I really wish that they had showed exactly this later on, is that Sam might be doing exactly that with his children one day.
Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam. was being serious.
Yeah, he was too, Sam.
So was I.
If there's anything that reminds Frodo of what he's fighting for, it's Sam.
Smeagol? Master looks after us.
He had cast Gollum out of himself, and just the fact that he let him back in, even though now he's still trying to fight against him again, it's just probably not strong enough to fight him off again.
Kill him. Kill them both. And we'll be the master. He's always watching. Put out his eyes.
Even in the same shot, showing the change in expression to show the different characters emerging, Gollum and Smeagol. This is very expertly done.
Kill them both. Yes. No.
Smeagol isn't evil, really. He's just weak, unfortunately. He's unable to stand up to the power of the ring. He's unable to stand up to Gollum within himself.
Come on, hobbits. Long ways to go yet.
He chooses to walk on all fours. Just maybe to make him seem less human. Or, I mean, they're not human, they're hobbits, but seem like more of an animal than a person, rather. All right, stage is set. Going into the final chapter. And there we go. Another one in the books. Ironically so, since it's from a book. Let's go to the wrap-up. Well, folks, another Lord of the Rings movie in the books. Extended edition for Two Towers. I would definitely say that I enjoyed that more than the theatrical cut. No surprise. 2 movies in. We only have 1 to go, at least with the extended editions. I do, again, fully plan at some point. I imagine people would be on board to go through the Hobbit movies. I doubt I will do both theatrical and extended for the Hobbit. It seems like there's fewer differences on those. It's not the extended's not that much more extended, so might as well just go to that to begin with. But for these, it's the same story over again. More of an opportunity to spend a little extra time with the characters, spend some other key moments with the characters to set them up, to give certain things that happen in the story more gravity. There are certain parts I could understand them cutting out for time. It's harder to understand them cutting out parts that are 10 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that, that are kind of crucial parts to understanding a character properly. They cut out that entire flashback with Boromir and Faramir together. In the theatrical cut, we never see them together. We don't see them in flashback. We don't see them in anything. But how long was that piece? I mean, that was maybe a little bit one of the longer sections, but we saw Boromir in this movie with Faramir. We also saw Denethor in this movie. And we saw the family dynamic between the 3 of them, which was toxic all the way around. Denethor still hasn't gained any points in my mind. From what I've heard in the comments, maybe they'll go more into the kind of background of his character and how he got to be this way in the next movie with the extended content added in. But in this, it seemed like a toxic situation both ways, where he had definitely picked a favorite, but even his relationship with his favorite was toxic because Boromir is a good person and goes to him saying, why are you treating Faramir that way? And Boromir and Faramir actually genuinely caring about each other, whereas from at least that scene, I don't know if Denethor cares about either one of them. Even Boromir, who he lionizes so much, it's more about not even paying attention to who Boromir actually is, but just picking one of his sons as his champion and as his heir and all the rest of this, and lionizing him for Denethor's own glory, it seems. Whereas Boromir and Faramir are actually brothers who have a real relationship and care about each other. We saw some other things characterized differently. I really feel differently about Eowyn's arc in this movie when it comes to Aragorn. In the theatrical cut, it really feels like a romance, or it feels like she's in love with him, like she wants to be with him, like there's this chance for a romance between the 2 of them. It even feels in a couple of situations like Aragorn reciprocates it a little bit, but ultimately ends up not proceeding. With this, it doesn't seem as much like a romance as the way they structured it and some of the extra content. It seems more that Eowyn reveres Aragorn as a warrior, as his natural ability to be a leader, and whether he likes it or not, the draw for him to become king, of just being who he naturally is, but how he is honored and respected on the battlefield and what he's able to do. It seems more like she wants his respect. It seems more like she looks up to him rather than that she's in love with him. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. It seems like what she is concerned with more than anything else is the honor of being able to fight for Rohan. And to be honest, I find that a lot more interesting than her just being infatuated with Aragorn or falling in love with Aragorn or any of the rest of it. There being like a love triangle, not even a love triangle, but like this possibility of another romantic route for Aragorn because he believes that he has sent Arwen away, or he has sent Arwen away. And then realizing obviously it doesn't matter if he sent her away, his heart belongs to her. But I feel this route, at least if I'm interpreting it correctly, is far more interesting. Some other little bits here and there to kind of flesh out characters, to kind of sit on certain moments for a little longer and give them more reverence. I think one of the most egregious ones, and not to say it was unenjoyable because I love Gandalf, but was shortly after we meet Gandalf the White for the first time. He and Aragorn are standing there at night looking out over the territory, and he's giving him basically just this whole exposition dump, which is, again, that's pretty much all it was. Him sitting there just rattling off details as Aragorn nodded, essentially. Important information, and again, I love Gandalf, but I think that was probably one of the more egregious ones, and one of the ones I could understand a bit more of them cutting out or cutting down if they were trying to save time. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. There were some moments I felt really resonated. The way that my ratings go here, as I've said, are twofold. It's how much did I enjoy the experience, and did the people making the movie achieve what they were trying to achieve? I don't think there's any question at this point that the people who made the Lord of the Rings movies achieved what they were trying to achieve. These movies have been revered for over 2 decades now. Of all the franchises that I've covered at all out here on this channel so far, Lord of the Rings certainly has the fiercest fan base. I mean, there's certain ones I haven't gotten into yet, and I'm not going to ask the people watching this video if there are other fan bases that are more fearsome and loyal than the Lord of the Rings fans. I know that you won't think there are. I don't know if there are, but we'll see once I get to some of these other universes. But there's a reason that these stories and these movies have stood the test of time as they have. And with these movies being still as enjoyable as they are now for someone coming to them for the first time, I can only imagine how amazing these were to watch in the very early 2000s, given the other things they had to go up against back then. Not to say there weren't great movies being made back then, movies grand in scale and everything like that, but you don't see movies that hold up like this well over time very often, and that keep a fan base this rabid for this long. So obviously a lot of people deserve a lot of credit for the quality of these movies. I believe that last time when I did theatrical cuts, as far as ratings, that I gave theatrical for Fellowship 4 stars, theatrical for Two Towers 4.5, and theatrical for Return of the King 5. I gave the extended edition for Fellowship of the Ring 4.5 stars. I feel like I gotta put this at 5. I really do. I mean, this, what could these movies have done better? Lord of the Rings has really opened up, I think, not to say I'm going to be the biggest fantasy fan, like I'm sure so many of you watching are, but it has certainly opened this world up to me in a way that I didn't consider before. I am enjoying these movies more than I expected. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I watched it, and I can't think of anything that I think they could have done better. I mean, obviously this ran a bit long, but it's supposed to. It's supposed to be more comprehensive. Someone in the comments actually said it probably makes more sense to look at the theatrical cut and the extended editions, to look at it like you would a book, as far as like an abridged version and an unabridged version. And I feel like that's probably perfect. For some people, the abridged version is a good entry point, and if they like it, they'll go on to the unabridged. Some people go straight to unabridged. But yeah, if you're looking for a short movie, you don't watch Lord of the Rings. If you're looking for a fantasy adventure through Middle-earth that you're going to be able to live in for 3 or 4 hours, then yeah, that's when you watch Lord of the Rings. And as much as I enjoyed the story in the theatrical cut, I enjoyed it even more here. So I feel like this has to get 5 stars, which means that Return of the King is probably going to get 5 stars too. I told you, I think I messed up the system by going this high to begin with on theatrical, but here we are. So Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, Extended Edition, 5 stars, and we're going in strong to Return of the King when we get there. This is not going to be the next video after this one, but the one after. I really appreciate you coming along with me to watch this. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. I hope you'll go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons down there, click the bell so you can see when I'm putting out new videos. We're coming to the end here pretty quick, folks, as far as the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. All we have left is Return of the King, but I hope to see you over there on that reaction, and thanks for being here for this one. See you on the next video. Take care.